DoodleDangWang. So, this one is a little different. This is about this ship, the Vesper, that I found on a world I downloaded. It was just sitting there on the ground, I presumed was to simulate a crash of some sort. After trying the ship out, I noticed the fuel didn't really last on it, either from too many thrusters and or few hydro tanks, and it was primarily a hydro ship. The ship itself was gorgeously designed with a lot of love put into the details. Besides not really being flight viable, I blueprinted it away to maybe try fixing at a later date. Well, fast forward to recently, I was poking around in the workshop and happened upon that same ship, called the HDI Vesper Dropship 353 Betty Sue. Turns out it's by this person named Sevyrs, who also made that world called HDI When Worlds Collide. Turns out they make a silly amount of Spengy's material and it's all top shelf builds. Anyway, I took a look at the comments and noticed others made some mention of the ship not lasting long in the air, so I thought for a second, hey, I can fix it. So this is my attempt. So I got to taking the ship apart to figure out where all the tanks, batteries, thrusters, and mysteries were, and everything is really tucked away into places nicely to not interrupt the flow of the ship. First thing I'm thinking is I need to lighten up the ship and decrease the thruster count and then build it back up. Long story short, none of that was necessary, and the only thing that's really needed is a large hydro tank, as the small tanks are kinda garbage considering capacity to physical size. So, job done. Go pitch it to Sevyrs, right? Yeah, if you've seen any of my last vids, you know I like moving mechanics on ships, whether they need it or not, and this ship didn't need it. But you see these crevices, implies these wings and nacelles would move, yeah? So, another long story short, I did too much in the ship that I'm posting on the workshop as that ship, which I called the Sally Bell. Addressing the elephant in the room, here's them moving, and Lord Clang was none too kind to me. I have never had as much clang on a build as this thing. And before you say it, know the blocks are not in the way, as I gutted this at one point and there are no blocks left. I tried all the setting variations I know to try and just couldn't stop the clang. I even tried this with just the rotors and no hinges, that it didn't do anything different. Y'all are more than welcome to try to fix this. That aside, they do significantly slow your ship on descent when they decide it to work. So they also don't move well while the ship is in motion. Yeah, so right there, this is a no-go for a survival ship, making this fully a vanity ship. Not really a bad thing, but it's always great if you can have a ship that can do both. Wrapping up, the rest of it, I added functional fold-out landing gears, and since that removes the magnetic connection, I added a fold-out mag connector to the bottom. Wasn't a fan of the dual door thing, so I made a single door solution with a hinging ramp. I implemented my favorite scripts LCD and simple. I added some mechanical access passages, and because of course I did, I added a 10-second self-destruct button. So is it better? I mean, it can fly with just Atmos now, it has a lot more ions now, it's got more than enough fuel to do space traversals, but the nacelle thing, coupled with it ultimately being a lot heavier, makes it different. If nothing else, it's a conversation piece. Special thanks to Sevyrs for the encouragement on the project. Definitely check out their workshop items if you haven't already. Please feel free to leave any questions or comments, and thank you all for stopping by.